My mate. I've been sitting staring at his muddy pair of boots and trying to convince myself it's him. Look out there, lad, that sniper, he's a desi when he shoots. He'll be laying a view out the same as Jim. Jim as lies there in the dugout with his blanket round his head to keep his brains from mixing with the mud, and his face as white as putty and his overcoat's all red, like he's split a blooming paint pot. But it's blood. And I'm trying to remember of a time we wasn't pals. How often we've played hooky, him and me. And sometimes it was music halls and sometimes it was girls. And even then we had no disagree. For when he copped Mariah Jones, the one I liked the best, I shook his hand and loaned him £50. I saw him through the parson's job. I helped him make a nest. I even stood godfather to his kid. So when the war broke out, says he, "Well, what about it, Joe?" "Well, what about it, lad?" says I to him. His missus made an awful fuss, but he was keen to go. He always was high-spirited, was Jim. Well, none of it's been heaven and most of it's been hell. But we've shared our baccy and we halved our bread. We had all the luck at Wipers and we shaved through Nova Show when that sniping bastard got him in the head. Now what I want to know is why it wasn't me was took. I've only got myself. He stands for 3. And I'm plainer than a louse while he was handsome as a duck. He always was a better man than me. He was going home next Tuesday too. He was happy as a lark. And he'd just received a letter from his kid. And he struck a match to show us as we sat there in the dark when that bleeding bullet got him in the lid. He was killed so awful sudden like he hadn't time to die. He sort of jumped and came down with a thud. And them corpsey looking star shells went up streaming overhead. And there he lay like nothing in the mud. There he lay so quiet like, with no mansard to his head. And I'm sick and blamed if I can understand. For the pots of half and half we've had, and zip like that he's dead, with the letter of his nipper in his hand. Now there's some as fights for freedom, and there's some as fights for fun. But me, old lad, I fights for bleeding hate. You can blame this war and blast it, but I hopes it won't be done until I gets the blood price for my mate. It'll take a lot of bayonet to level up for Jim. Then if I'm spared, I think I'll take a bid with that there Mariah Jones to sort of take the place of him and to sort of be a father to his kid.